Hey everybody, for today's workout, we are going to start with a little warm-up. We're going to do 20 squats. Try to make them nice and fast. We want to go all the way down. Watch that our knees are over our toes. Then we're going to do 20 jumping jacks, 20 seconds of quick feet. So you're essentially running on the spot, but you're going to bend your knees and really go as fast as you can. And then we're going to do 20 lateral lunges. We're going to put our feet side to side. We're not actually going to step in and out. We're just going to bend one knee leaning to the other side and then bend one knee leaning to the other. And again, making sure that our knees stay stacked over our toes when we go down, pushing them to the outside, not letting our knees cave in. Moving on to mobility, we're going to start with our hips. So our first exercise is going to be a shin box, where we're adding extra pressure on our bottom leg. So we're going to set up seated, nice and tall, and have your knees both at a 90-degree angle. You're going to lift your leading leg, and then you're going to push your hands down on your lagging leg to really try to increase that rotational difference between both of your feet. And then once you kind of feel like you've hit a wall and you can't go any further, you're going to let go of your lagging knee and both your feet are going to shift over to the other side. Then same thing, put some pressure on the lagging leg, open up the leading leg as far as you can, and then let go of your lagging leg and both your legs are going to flip over to the other side. Next shin box variation, we're going to start in the same position with your legs at 90 degrees, standing nice and tall, and then trying to minimize how much your hips move. So you want both your sits bones to be on the ground. You're going to try to lift the foot of your back leg. Next up, we're going to do a pigeon stretch where we're sliding in our back foot. So we're getting into a pigeon position. Our back leg is nice and straight. Our front knee is at as close to 90 degrees as we can, and we're standing really, really tall. Push your hands into the ground here to make sure that you're stable. And keeping your chest nice and high, we're going to slide your back heel on the floor towards your front foot. Go as much as you can. You should feel a little bit of pinching in the hips. And then slowly slide it back down to the starting position. And we'll do 5 of these per side. Next up, we're going to do some side lying hip cards. So first off, you're going to lie on your side and bend both your knees. You're going to get a tennis ball and you're going to put it behind your top leg. So right behind the knee, snug between the calf and the hamstring. Next up, you're going to put your heel to the ground and you're going to open your knee as much as you can. Slide your heel up as close to your stomach as you can. Then you're going to keep your knee where it is and pivot your heel up as high as possible. Next, you're going to open up your knee to the back. Once your knee is behind you, kick your heel up to the ceiling, and then drop the knee and the heel together to complete the circle. Now we're going to go backwards, so kick your heel towards your bum, open up with your heel, then open up with your knee and your foot, all the way up towards your chest. Keep your knee where it is, pivot your heel to the floor, and then slide your foot back down to the starting position. We're going to do 3 forwards and 3 backwards on this one, on each leg. You guys should feel a little bit of pinching when you guys open up your heel and pivot around your knee at the beginning there. Make sure that that top hip isn't moving too much. We have a tendency to fall backwards. So make sure that top hip is also keeping stable on top of the bottom hip. Next up, we're going to have a down dog flow. So you're going to get into a high plank. You're going to lean back into a down dog, really pushing your heels to the ground. Then you're going to bend your knees. You're going to keep bending your knees as much as you can until you get to the ground, rounding your upper back, and then push your legs forward to your high plank. Again, back into your down dog, bend your knees, keep bending as much as you can, bring your hips towards the ground, and then slowly slide forward to your high plank. We have 5 reps here. Try to make it as smooth as you can and really try to exaggerate each of these positions up as high into your down dog as possible, and then crouching as low as you can with your knees bent. Now for the last of our hip mobility exercises, we're going to do a full shin box. So you're going to get set up like we did on the first 2 exercises, knees at 90 degrees, standing up nice and tall. Now without using your hands at all, you're going to open up your leading leg as high as you can. Once you can't anymore, you're slowly going to pull your lagging leg over with you. You're trying to keep your sits bones on the ground as much as possible here, and really pushing both hips to be in contact with the ground at all times, as well as pushing your knees to be down as close to the ground as possible when you get back to the floor in your 90-90 position here. 5 per leg. Moving on to our upper body now, we're going to start with the 3-way prone pec stretch. So you're going to be lying on your stomach and you're going to start with your arms straight out to your side, palm facing the floor. You're going to kick over your opposite leg across your body, so then you can get a stretch through your pec, the front of their shoulder there, and you might also get a nice little spinal stretch as you rotate. Then you're going to lift up your arm about 45 degrees, and you're going to repeat the same motion. If you need to, you can straighten your other arm straight up to the ceiling or as far back as you can, and that's going to increase the stretch. 3 at each angle. And then your last angle, you're going to bend your elbow to 90 degrees. Make sure that the elbow is in line with the shoulder. And then we're going to repeat the same thing, kicking that opposite leg over the body, getting a pec stretch here as your spine rotates. And then we're going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. 3 reps with your arms straight out to the side. 3 reps with your arms straight but at a 45-degree angle. And then 3 arms with your elbow bent at 90 degrees. Next, we have dowel dislocates. So you guys can grab a broom, a stick, whatever you guys want to use for this. We're going to have our hands on either end and we're going to trace a big circle over our head. The closer you hold your hands together, the harder this is going to be. Make sure that you lock out your arms completely as you complete the circle. What we want to avoid is the arms being too close and then you needing to bend your elbows to force the dowel to complete a circle over your head. If this is the case, widen your hands out. Now as you do reps, you might find that your shoulders are loosening up a little bit, so you can bring your hands closer and closer together as long as you keep your arms straight the whole time. Next, we're going to do an eagle grip dislocate. So you guys can keep your hands where you are, maybe widen them a little bit, and you're going to grab your dowel or stick with an underhand grip and then complete a big circle over your head as well. So when the dowel is behind your back, your palm should be facing the front of the room. We're going to complete 10 reps of this as well. Next up, we're going to do a shoulder carves. So you're going to grab a tennis ball and get on all fours. You're going to grip the tennis ball with one of your hands as hard as you can. So we're locking out the arm, we're creating lots of tension so the muscles are all tight, squeezing the tennis ball. We're going to lift the tennis ball up towards your head. Once you feel stuck and you can't go back any further, you're then going to rotate your shoulders. So you're going to open the palms up towards the ceiling as much as you can. Once you get stuck in that rotation, you're then going to start opening up your arms to trace a big circle with your arm, going all the way back towards your bum. Continue to rotate that hand as much as you can, and then you're going to just finish the circle and bring the ball back towards the other side. Right away we go in reverse. So now you have the ball facing backwards. You're going to lift your arm so palm goes up to the ceiling, pass your bum up as high as you can. Once you reach that point, we rotate in the shoulder to open the palm up and the ball's facing towards the front of the room. Once we can't rotate anymore, then you start to move your arm to trace that big circle, and then you complete the circle until the hand is back down beside your opposite hand. We're going to be doing 3 forward circles and 3 backward circles for each arm. We're then going to go into a seated shoulder stretch. So we're going to have your bum on the ground, feet flat on the ground in front of you, and your hands behind you. Make sure your fingers are pointing forward, and then you're going to push your palms into the floor and stick your chest out as wide as you can. Take a breath in your chest. Then you're going to relax your chest and walk your hands a little bit further. You're going to repeat this, making sure that you're never caving in and rounding your shoulders inwards. We're always sticking the chest out and pushing the shoulders behind us. Hold that for 1 breath or 2 or 3 seconds, and then you walk your hands further. You're going to repeat this 10 times. For today's conditioning, we're going to be doing a Tabata. That's interval training, and it means that we're going to do 20 seconds of work, and then you get 10 seconds of rest. We have 6 exercises. Each exercise you're going to repeat 3 times before we move on to the following exercise. I'm going to start by explaining all of them, and then we're going to get going on our first round. We'll take a 1.5 minute break, and then we're going to repeat all 6 exercises 2 more rounds. Our first exercise is a dynamic high plank. So you're going to grab some kind of elevated surface, and we're going to step one hand off to the side at a time and then back on up to that surface. We're going to do this as fast as possible. If you don't feel comfortable on the ground or you don't have that kind of elevated surface, you can just put your hands on a bench or couch and just move your hands side to side and then back into the middle. Our next exercise is going to be a lateral hop. So you're going to have our feet together and we're going to jump as fast as we can. If you don't have a hurdle, you can just put some kind of string or mark on the ground and jump over it, and we're going to do this as fast as possible. Next up, we're going to have a split squat jump. So you're going to set your feet apart, your knees at 90 degrees. We're going to jump up and you're going to land with your feet in the exact same position. We're going to do 10 seconds on the right, and then we're going to switch and do 10 seconds on the left. Next up, we're going to have V-snaps, so make sure your legs are nice and straight and you're pulling your hands up to your toes. Next up, we're going to do some pulse squats. We're going to squat all the way down but only come 3/4 of the way up. We're going to stay in this middle section of the squat until the very end where we'll stand up and lock out. Lastly, we're going to have a hollow hold or hollow rocks. For your hollow hold, you can either have your knees bent and we're pushing the low back into the ground, and if that's too easy, you can straighten your legs out as well. If this is also fairly easy to hold for 20 seconds, you're going to rock back and forth. Think of the bottom of a rocking chair was round 1. We'll take a minute and a half break, and then we'll come back for round 2. exercise. That was round 2. Again, a minute and a half break, and then we'll come back for the third and final round. job, guys. That's the workout for today. I'll see you guys next week, live on Monday.